So the housing market inventory is shifting, and what you need to know about it and what you can do about it. So my name is Alan Rich. I'm the managing broker here at Maximum Realtor Partners.
My name is Ming Richardson and compliance broker for Maximum One Realty and Realtor Partners.
So we're going to start off talking about inventory, but also before we really jump into inventory, it's like what's happening with pricing. So Case Shiller and FHFA, they both released what's going on with property values on a nationwide level, right? And so what we're seeing where property appreciation is still growing, albeit at a not the same rate that it has been in the past. And see, that's one of the big things that people have been talking about is we've seen inventory rising, and as inventory has risen, we've seen prices leveling off. It's been actually pretty flat. And so when you start looking at these national pricing data points, it shows that for the year, Case Shiller has us coming in at about 3.5, and has an FHA for FHA properties, the appreciation is coming in at about 4.5% on an annualized basis. Now, the news headline though is that the rate of appreciation is falling, and that is true, but it makes it sound like there's negative appreciation.
When there's not, honestly,
Right.
because even though it's just not increasing like it was during pandemic, where it's double digit, which is unheard of in the average steady inventory and housing market appreciation.
Yeah, but see, they try and make it sound so
Well, the
like
sky is
oh my
falling,
gosh, things are
just
going
like
terrible.
foreclosures. Do we see more foreclosure now? Absolutely,
But
but
still like this big,
it's
right?
when you look at the average number, and this is nationwide. This is not just Atlanta, Baltimore, Maryland, California. This
No.
is average nationwide. So real estate is very local. So um, definitely know your market.
Well, the other thing about when it comes to like home value appreciation is that every single month it moves like
Hmm.
this. So one month we're up 0.1, next month we're down
It's like a
0.2, then
seesaw.
we're up 0.4, then we're down 0.3. So it looks kind of like this. Now, once you put it out on a trend line, it looks a lot more
Well, just like,
consistent, easy,
everybody said the sky's falling back in 2000, 2007, 2008. Look at what the price of a home back then versus what it is
Yeah.
now. I
I,
mean,
I wish we had bought more homes during at the
absolutely.
peak, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Those houses are still standing. So, and yes, as the population grows, there are more demand for homes. So, even though the inventory may be up slightly, um,
Well, I mean, if you look at inventory, let's say total inventory, like this year versus the previous years, right? So we are definitely seeing a lot more inventory than we've seen in 2020, 2021, 22, 23, 24. We're seeing more inventory than then. However, we are still seeing less inventory than we had in 2017, 18, and those kind of times. So we are seeing an improvement in inventory. And so,
absolutely.
like if you look at just in the state of Georgia, right? So in the state of Georgia, this year versus last year, over 12 months, right? We currently have 20% more inventory than
Than
we
we did
had
last
a
year.
year ago. And
Correct.
honestly, this number is actually a lot less than it was like during the really hot summer months, that kind of stuff. At one point, we were up like 38 to 40% more inventory this year than last year. So that's actually been tapering down, which is interesting because we've seen the number of new listings reducing, especially as we've moved into the fall time of year. So right now, this year versus last year, up 20%. Now, the other interesting thing is that if you look at us compared to pre-COVID, right? Finally, we are actually higher than we were in total inventory than we were at the beginning of
Pre-pandemic,
2021, 2020, I mean.
19.
Yeah. So we are now, when I say we're up, I do mean we are up, but it's like we're up
1%.
1%.
1%.
And so we're basically flat where we were. Now we have a lot more people
In
that
Metro Atlanta area,
yeah.
there's more job growth down here versus 2019. So when you look at the housing market as far as the increase, but you also look at the the increase of people that comes in, I mean, we're probably still in negative as far as the equation
But
goes.
this is kind of where we're seeing what's happening with price here. You have some states that tend to really move the national averages on
Hmm.
things. So, like Texas and Florida, California, those three states in particular tend to really move the market in a lot of ways. Now, Texas is up 31% over pre COVID.
Believe it or not, Kentucky is up 35%.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
Tennessee.
Tennessee. I'm
Yeah.
sorry, Tennessee. I
Yeah.
apologize.
Florida is up about 23%. So we are in the pretty flat range in there. And if you look at our pricing at the values, that's kind of tying in the same exact way. Where we are pretty flat, very consistent. We're in the 2 to 3%
Well, we
appreciation
projected
range.
that we wouldn't have a whole lot of appreciation this year, and that's because the market, like I said, for the last couple of years has been correcting itself in what we call steep appreciation of value.
Hmm. Now, the U.S. inside the U.S. market, the turnover rate is currently at its lowest rate, I think, than
Hmm.
we've ever seen. And what that means is, what are the home sales like per thousand per year? Right now, it's at 27.7. Like during the peak, it was around 44. And so we're seeing where there's just overall a lot less activity this past year. Please don't think that's what's going to be happening moving into, well, even now and into the first part of next year. Now, overall, here in Georgia, right? The national average may be 27. In Georgia, we're currently at about 30, and that's down about 5%. So we are seeing a little bit softening, but not much in terms of turnover. Last year is 31.5. This year it's 30.1. So we're down about 1.5% roughly.
Correct.
Um, so not a big drop in overall turnover, but nationwide there's a pretty substantial drop in turnover. See, one of the big things going on right now is
The
so.
shutdown that
Well, I mean, we do
has
have the
been
government shutdown,
dominating the news.
and we want to be clear that we are apolitical, right?
Correct.
We're not.
We're not here talking
Uh,
about shutdown, but the implication and the effect of shutdown for our industry.
Right, because right now, what is the biggest blow that we feel to housing from the shutdown? We feel the biggest blow is really buyer confidence,
Hmm.
right? We're seeing the best mortgage rates we've had in 3 years, and still we're not seeing the level of activity that we should be seeing with what's happened with interest rates moving forward. So, right
Correct.
now, there's a lot of challenges in consumer confidence. When the government shut down, people are a little bit apprehensive about making major purchases. They feel kind of pessimistic overall about pretty much all
Well,
things.
it's a job security thing. I mean, if you don't feel like you're able to hold down your job, be consistent in your job, then you wonder whether or not you can afford a house. But just remember, your rent is always going to go up
Yeah.
every year. So with a house payment, it stays steady for 30 years. So even inflation, whatever it is, your mortgage will always be the same for the next 30 years. To me, that's a security in itself.
Well, and I get it that right now we are in the longest government shutdown I think of all time so
Well,
far.
35 day, we're on 32. So
Yeah,
we got 3 more
we're
days.
really close, right?
Hmm.
So it's pretty impactful what that's doing and affecting in a lot of different factors. Overall in housing, like there isn't as many direct impacts so far. Like we're still getting FHA loans to go through. USDA is having a few complications here and there, but we're still very hopeful that everything starts to even out here pretty soon.
Yep.
Now, one other area that we have seen this inventory really affecting us is in the overall momentum of new construction,
Yes.
right? And so, new
With that
construction,
said,
yeah,
y'all, it gives the buyers so many opportunities. I have someone this past week. The builder was offering temporary buy down. The introductory rate was 3.99. Y'all, that's incredible.
yeah.
And not only that, they're buying down for the next 3 years. So, you know, it allows the buyer to get a house with very minimal amount of money. It's actually cheaper than going to find a new rental place, putting security deposit down in your first month's rent.
And pet
Because
deposit and all this other
well,
kind of
what it
stuff.
is,
Yeah.
the new construction are giving such a good incentive. I have heard one that say they put $1,000, they spent a total $1,000 to move in, and their monthly payment was almost equivalent to what their rental rate actually was, a little bit less than the rental rate because the incredible interest
Yeah.
rate. And so what their strategy was to go ahead, save up this year with the savings that they have at that incredible interest rate, and then build up to where they can feel comfortable paying for the rest of 30 years.
Well, this rise in in overall inventory has impacted the builders, right?
Absolutely.
So having more inventory means that buyers have a lot more choices. So the builders are having to sweeten the pot even
Hmm.
more. Now, the other thing that's interesting is even though we're sitting on around 4.8 months of standing inventory, the builders are sitting on like 10 months of standing inventory, almost double what the inventory level. And now they normally keep a higher inventory level than the resale market. I get that. However, it makes them really apprehensive when they see that total inventory here in Georgia 20% up more. Well, new construction inventory is up more, so they are sweetening the pot. Now the builders are slowing down in some places to kind of account for this, but like the bottom line is there's a lot of opportunities out there for buyers, whether you're looking at new construction,
For
what
those folks that are looking at minimum down payment and getting at a great interest rate, I will highly recommend you check out new
Yep.
construction, as they're a great outlet for you to and then your buyer to attain a dream of home ownership.
Yeah. So more homes, more choices. That's really the bottom line. What's going on? This is a very good time to be buying in our marketplace. So right now we have some of the best inventory that we've had in a long time, and we're starting to see where prices are really, really flat. Going back to the case shiller and FHA
Hmm.
pricing increases, we actually saw with the last 4 months. I'm sorry, the previous 5 months, we actually saw a slight dip in month over month um, property depreciation. This month it jumped back up, and so that kind of tied in with what's happening with interest rates because we are
I was going to
seeing
say it jumped back up because the a more affordable interest rate.
right now the average mortgage payment has actually reduced big time. We have some of the best mortgage rates we've had in 3 years, and so like
Take advantage of it.
I think for a lot of real estate professionals, you have to realize that this is the new normal, right? This is a balanced market. If you weren't in the business in since 2012, you've not seen a balanced market. I mean, I'm serious. Like this is a
Well,
balanced
look,
market now, and
listen,
and
real estate is like a seesaw, okay? It goes up and
yeah,
down, okay? There's never a steady just this.
yeah,
Just because, it depends on demands, what the market's doing. There's multiple variables in real estate when you're talking about real estate buying, investing, and selling.
yeah.
So, with that said, it's never going to be we're going to be at this point and this is where we're maintaining. It's
Well, and
not.
and for a lot of our real estate professionals, like I said, unless you've been in the business 12 or 13 years, you haven't seen a balanced market. There's this expectation of things feel a little bit weird. This is not
And it's
normal.
always weird.
This is the new normal, right? Like
So,
like our only constant is change, honestly, in the real estate industry. So like we should be embracing this. This is not
right.
a negative. This is not a oh wow, I sure miss how things used to be, that kind of stuff. That's not what this is really about. Matter of fact, right now, if you look at it and you take, for example, Zillow's heat market index, that's where they look at buyers versus sellers. They just see it. I mean, and basically anything up near 100, that's a seller's market.
Hmm.
Anything around zero is a buyer's market. We are dead on 50. Like we are as middle comes right now. So it's a very, very neutral market right now. And that's causing some angst with some folks out
It
there.
is because everybody. like an investor, buyer, or seller, they always want to see I can sell at the highest price, and the buyer want to make sure they're not buying at the highest price. So it's a roller coaster, but there's a fine line there where the needs meets the demand. So that's where, as a real estate agent, you need to know your market, know where the needs are, where the demands are, and what is the happy medium.
So let's cut to the chase here. There's less than 8 weeks
8
left
weeks.
of 2025.
That's it.
And when you put it that way, you're like, holy smokes, it's almost 2025 is almost gone. I
Hmm.
feel like I just started writing 2025 on my checks and
It
not
feels.
forgetting. So like the year's flown by, you have 8 weeks left. And so I think that we need to really be looking at our business. And first thing is in like what's the difference between being busy versus being productive? I know a lot of real estate professionals that stay very, very busy but don't necessarily get a lot done. I know a lot of folks that are jumping into social media and watching videos of cats with hats and not getting a lot of transactions out of it. And so like we need to be very intentional about what our day looks like, about reaching out, engaging with clients. It's all about having relationships. It's about talking to your clients. Please, please do not wait to show gratitude to your clients. We are moving into the
Especially with
holidays.
Thanksgiving
We
coming
have
up, this is
holiday,
a
yeah,
great time for
yeah.
you to reach out and show gratitude and for your client support and all the things that they have helped you throughout the year. And also, please encourage them if they're thinking about buying, buy before December 31st so they can take advantage of homestead exemption for the next year.
See, there you go. That will make you grateful. But like this is the season of gratitude. Now, the good part about reaching out with gratitude is that this is a great time when people will automatically start telling you about what's going on in their life. Just the act of reaching out and engaging, talking to your clients, being thankful will generate even more business for you.
Yeah, especially if you sold any houses this year, call your client and say, hey, you getting ready to have your new, very first Christmas in your new home. Hopefully that you'll enjoy it. Send in an ornament or something, or just reach out to them and show gratitude. And you'll be amazed through that conversation that you may or may not obtain a referral.
Yeah. So the time of getting ready to get ready is
Is now.
past. Right? Do not get ready to get ready. All right. We
Just
just hear
do it.
so many
Just
folks
do it,
like,
y'all.
well, I'm
Like
getting ready.
Nike
I'm getting
said,
ready to
just
get
do it.
ready. And then we're not doing anything. The time for action is now. Like Ming
Correct.
said, right now is the time to be proactive, to reach out, to be engaging with your clients. Please do not wait because we're looking at a market that is really set on the edge of like at some point the government shutdown is going to be over. At some
Correct.
point I mean we're seeing real great movement on inventory. We're seeing very like a lot more activity starting to go on. If you wait until the first of the year to go out and start engaging with your clients, you're going to be behind the eight ball. You're going to be chasing the market. So don't let that happen to you.
Thank y'all for
Have a
watching.
great week.
Have a great day.
Bye now.